One of the things that this new charter will bring to us is representation. The current situation is we have 3 commissioners serving every citizen in the county, but almost none of them. And that's because special interest groups are driving the decisions and the democratic process in the county. With the passage of the proposition, we will have 4 districts. Each district will have its own commissioner, and each commissioner will be representing the constituents of his or her district. A substantial shift in the politics of the county. And I believe it will give us much, much better, more focused decision-making on the part of the commissioners.
I'm Brian Clark, and I live in the Colonial Valley area of Grants Pass, which is in District 4 of the new commissioner districts that would be created by the new charter that's being proposed. Other areas that are in District 4 are Merlin, Hugo, Sunny Valley, Wolf Creek. And one of the big concerns for people that live in that area is a threat from wildfire. Merlin itself is the #1 most at-risk wildfire community in Oregon. One of the things that we had going on recently in Josephine County was we had on the ballot a proposal to create a fire district for the rural areas of the county. The commissioners weren't much help in creating that fire district. In fact, rather than give us help with it, one of them actually seemed to lobby against it. As a result of that, we didn't get money that was available to us from the state or from the federal government for rural fire districts. It went to somebody else instead of us. We really needed the commissioner's support on that. Another thing that commissioners did recently is they even weakened the fire regulations by legislation. So again, they're not very much helping us out with this. In the past 20 years, almost all of the county commissioners have come from the Grants Pass area. It'd be nice to have the commissioners come from the areas that they live in. And also they would be more approachable by their citizens, because the citizens know who it is that represents them in the county. You can imagine if a commissioner looked out his bedroom window and saw the flames from a wildfire locally, and I'm looking at the same one, that he would have an understanding of what I'm going through as a citizen out there.
I think that it's very important for the county as a whole to have 5 commissioners versus 3 because of a very recent decision that was made that I don't believe to have been the right decision in hiring not only an emergency manager, but merging 2 separate director level positions into one that have nothing to do with each other. This started back in 2023 when, unfortunately, Josephine County Emergency Manager left for another position in a neighboring county, and so it left the position vacant. At that time, it was decided that before the hiring, that the commissioners would exclude other members, other directors of Josephine County from the hiring process. And right before the hiring decision was made, one of the commissioners actually stepped away from the decision-making process. So what does that mean? That means essentially 2 county commissioners decided the safety of emergency management for 80,000 residents. The individual that the commissioners decided to appoint to the emergency manager IT position was someone that Commissioner Beartrigger had worked with in the legislature since 2012. So there was really clear ties personally and professionally to the 2. It's pretty undeniable. And so with only having 3 commissioners, that decision was essentially made by one, and it only required another one to go along with them. I don't believe that this decision would have been made as swiftly and as easily had there been a board of 5 commissioners. I think an attempt to hire a friend and give them a well-paid position would not go through as easily if there had been 5 people at the table making the decision at a minimum. Jackson County has withdrawn a plan to create a joint Rogue Valley Fire integrated plan, as well as hire a joint director to oversee that, in which Jackson County would have paid 70% of the cost. Josephine County only would have had to have paid 30%. So not only do the reckless decisions of these 2 commissioners that hold a concentration of power affect all of Josephine County residents and their safety, but also it really has severed our relationship with our regional partners as well, which we know in the event of an emergency, it's so important that we rely on each other and we pool resources.
Well, I'm excited about the idea of making a change to our system. You know, they say that from Cave Junction to Grants Pass, it's 30 miles. But I've heard it said that it's more like 300 miles from Grants Pass to Cave Junction, and that's frustrating. We have a homeless issue. We have a homeless emergency in our whole county, but in Cave Junction we do, Grants Pass does, and the 2 city councils passed emergency declarations about homelessness and forwarded them to the county and asked the county to back us up to the state, and nothing happened on that. We were told that it was a city issue. Well, I live in an area that has a lot of county territory, as we all do, and a lot of those people in my area live back in the hills because they don't want to be found, but that doesn't mean they wouldn't like to have a home if there was one that was available to them that they could afford. And if they felt like the system worked for them, I think they would tend to want to be more involved in what's happening. I just get really frustrated. Some of these people are really wonderful people. We have a lot of veterans that are in that situation. And I'm just really concerned about how our volunteers work. We have our city council in Grants Pass, our city council in Cave Junction, and we're all volunteers. We simply do the things that we think is best for the city, and that's why I want to change for our cities, and that's why I think the idea of changing the system makes a difference.
If you live out in Selma or Sunny Valley, you will have as much input as a resident of populated Grants Pass. The new Charter 17116 guarantees a greater democracy to all the residents of Josephine County.